Hello, my name's John Lindamood. I'm a cotton grower in northwest Tennessee, right on the banks of the Mississippi River. I farm here with my father and my family. We farm about 5,000 acres. We are third generation farmers. We have a strong connection with our community and with the land. Every day we get up and work hard to raise the cotton that goes into the clothes that you're wearing, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about our story on how that's done. U.S. cotton farmers are not very good at promoting our sustainability. We're focused on getting the crop in, getting the crop out, looking after our employees and our equipment, and just the day-to-day operations. We don't do a very good job of standing on the street corner telling everybody how sustainable we are. Everything we do is focused on sustainability, which to me entails environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability. We're all about limiting the use of scarce resources and allocating our resources to where they'll do the most good, where they're the most productive, whether that is water use, water management, energy management, herbicides, insecticides. We have a vested interest in using just as little of those resources as possible, and when we do use them, allocating them where they're needed. I'd like to start by discussing our practices, where we start. We start out with soil health. We've been no-tilling our crops since the late 1980s. That's the practice of planting into soil that hadn't been disturbed. You harvest one crop, you come back in the next season, and you plant right into the old residue. It promotes biodiversity in the soil, provides for water infiltration, prevents soil runoff, erosion. And on a lot of our fields, we use cover crops that were sown after harvest the fall before. Cover crops add to and complement all the benefits that I discussed in no-till. Additionally, they provide biomass above the soil. They cover the soil and they prevent weeds from germinating. We plant our cotton seed into these soils when it's warm enough. We have a fairly narrow window that we plant into, about 3 or 4 weeks. We have to have precision equipment to do it. One thing that we should discuss right here is genetically engineered seed. Genetically engineered seed simply refers to selective breeding. It's what we've done for generations, but in an accelerated form. It allows us to pick traits in the seed which promotes plant health and allows us to limit the amount of crop protection materials that we have to use. For example, we have cotton seed that is genetically engineered to resist certain insects, a naturally occurring bacteria within the plant, and discourages the insects from feeding on the plant. We probably cut our insecticide use by over 70%. After they're planted, you get emergence in 4 or 5 days. It's a long process from planting to harvest though, and we'll be talking about each step along the way. Cotton oftentimes has a reputation for being a heavy user of water, and all that is misinformation. That's just wrong. When I irrigate my fields of corn, wheat, beans, or cotton, I will irrigate my cotton the least. But let's talk about irrigation. We have new, efficient irrigation pivots. Those irrigation pivots have a specified nozzle pattern to achieve the most efficient distribution of water. They have drop nozzles that gets the distribution of water as close to the crop canopy as possible. We have what are called crop trackers on our irrigation rigs. I control them remotely with my smartphone. I know what speed they're running, how much water they're putting out, how long they've run. But beyond that, I have monitors in the soil in the field that are transmitting telemetry to my computer at the office, to my smartphone, telling me when I've got enough water in the soil or when I need water. It's all about efficiencies, and measuring what we're doing every step of the way so that we know we're applying the right amounts in the most efficient manner. One of the most exciting aspects of farming is the use of precision agriculture that has developed in the last 20 years. I'll tell you about a few of the things that we do that help us be better stewards and better producers. We start by sampling the soil, running electrical currents through it, mapping the soils into zones so we know where to take soil samples and where to apply our nutrients. Additionally, we use satellite images to measure the biomass of the crops, again to help us know where to go in the field to scout for insects, pull leaf tissue samples to have analyzed to know where we need to apply additional nutrients. Everything that we apply is done utilizing GPS-based positioning. We know exactly where we are in the field and what we're applying and what the rates are. Not only on every acre, but every square yard. We know exactly what we put in that space, and we can vary the rates. We can put more or less depending on the needs. Technology has provided us a wealth of information. We have maps that are generated showing the varying rates of yield, which is a way of proofing all the various processes that we've used through the year. And by having these yield maps, we can look back and we can see exactly what we've done. You've got to be computer savvy. We're hiring younger, college-educated individuals to work on our farm to help us manage the information technology that we're generating. After we get the seed in the ground and we get our crops up and we get past that very vulnerable stage, 3 to 4 inches, cotton becomes a pretty healthy and robust plant. It puts on an additional node, a fruiting branch, every 5 to 6 days under good conditions. Each branch will have multiple fruiting sites attached to it, but there's one that's most important, and that's the one closest to the stem. It's called the first position bowl. What you first see is what we call pinhead squares. We have a bloom, the bloom comes out, falls off, and then what's left is a bowl. So this is an ongoing process that occurs daily and weekly throughout the growing season. So it doesn't spring up, bloom overnight, and all of a sudden you got cotton bolls. Timing of harvest is difficult. You've got to have the cotton fully open. You have to have the leaves, the green matter removed from the plants. So it's all a matter of timing. We look at the number of nodes above cracked bowl. As the bowls open, we count the nodes left on the plant that have harvestable bolls on them, and we're looking for a number of 4 nodes above cracked bowl is one guideline. Additionally, we look at 60% open, but most importantly is the sharp knife test. That means walking in the field, taking a bowl, taking a sharp knife, slicing the bowl, and if it's resistant, it means the fibers are fully developed and you can't cut through the bowl. If you can slice right through it, it's too early. You're going to have reduced micron error and reduce the grades of your cotton, and of course we want the highest grade cotton that we can achieve. This is getting off a little bit in the weeds, but that's what we do in order to over and over again to determine the maturity of the cotton plant. When we get to the harvesting of the cotton, all comes to a head. We've spent all year producing a crop, managing a crop, and now we've got to get it in. And we do that with very modern machines. They pick an average of 75 acres a day per machine. You have spindles that on a drum that spin, and they catch the cotton and pull it off, and it goes around underneath a dolpher that removes it from the spindles, and it enters an airstream and goes to the basket, and then is packaged in round bell rolls. Those are picked up by the module truck, brought to the gin, and processed in the gin. The cotton sent to a warehouse where it waits demand from a merchant to go to a spinning mill.
My name is Aaron Litweiler, and I'm a general manager here at the Bogachitle Cotton Gin. The Cotton Gin provides a service for the farmers. We basically clean their cotton, we separate the seed from the cotton, and we package their cotton. That 500-pound bale is sampled, that bale is tagged, the samples are sent off to the classing office where that cotton is classed, and the bale is sent off to the warehouse where it will be stored until the time that it is purchased. We have a great group of farmers that gin at this gin. They care about the land, they're stewards of the land, and they're trying to always up their game to produce a quality product that we can be proud of at the end of the day. And our farmers, and I would say in this country, are second to none. And the practices that they put forward on the farm in showing care to the land and to the crop are evident when that cotton gets to this gin.
My name is Byron Cole. I am the Deputy Director for the USDA Cotton and Tobacco Program's Grading Division. The USDA grading system is unique in that when we put our seal and our grade on the cotton, you can rest assured that we have gone through our standardization process. Our standardization process consists of making grade standards for color grade, for HVI factors, for the fiber characteristics in which each one of the HVI line has produced. And by doing so, our HVI data stands up to scrutiny when it is regraded in any other entity around the world. And it is my sincere honor to make sure, and my duty to make sure, that the grades that we outturn onto each one of our classing data is accurate. It's important to me personally. I know that there are many families and lives and communities and people in the industry that depend on us to make sure that the grades that we outturn are accurate. And I stake my 31-year career on that, and it's important to me to make sure that it is done properly.
We've talked, however briefly, about producing cotton, about our efforts geared towards environmental stewardship, looking after the neighborhoods and the communities that we live in. I always think about how what we're doing is going to impact the community, both financially and environmentally. Maybe even more importantly are those individuals that work for us. Those people that have been on my farm for 20 years, almost as long as I have. They've worked for us, they're like family. We offer workman's compensation. We exceed minimum wage requirements. We pay time and a half overtime. We have retirement plans in place for our employees. I have one employee we helped through college who's just come back to work for us. We take a real interest in our employees and their health and their environment, not only because we have to under government standards, EPA, OSHA, that mandate that the U.S. farmer look after his employees. We take care of them because they're like family. They've worked with us for many years, and we're concerned about their well-being. I'd like to take the time to thank all the viewers that are out there that have joined us today to learn more about what the U.S. cotton producer is all about, what we're doing environmentally, socially, to strive to be more sustainable, how our cotton is produced, the challenges that we face. Very much appreciate you taking the time to educate yourselves and allow me to be part of this education process.